unsettling scream pierced the silence of the night, ripping me from a dreamless sleep. Heart hammering, I scrambled out of bed, fumbling for the light switch. Flicking it on, I let out a gasp. The dolls. Every single one of them was on the floor, strewn across the carpet as if thrown in a rage. Those with movable heads were tilted upwards, their unblinking glass eyes gazing directly at me like silent accusers. Panic clawed at my throat. Had Nancy done this? But why? And if not my sister, then who? "Nancy!" I shrieked, my voice raw with terror. A sleepy groan came from the bottom bunk. "What's wrong?" my sister mumbled, rubbing her eyes with the back of her hand. "The dolls," I stuttered, pointing at the unsettling scene on the floor. Nancy's eyes widened in horror as she took in the sight. They weren't like that before," she whispered, clearly disturbed. We stared at the overturned dolls, the silence in the room broken only by our ragged breaths. The porcelain girl with the chipped curl and unsettling smile seemed to smirk even wider in the harsh light of the overhead lamp. Before scary movies entered my life, dolls were my nightmare fuel, and they still are, at the ripe old age of 49. There's something about their vacant stares and eternally youthful smiles that I still find unsettling. My fear reached a fever pitch during a weekend sleepover at my aunt's house when I was a teenager. Aunt Clara had recently picked up a new hobby collecting antique dolls. These weren't your playful Cabbage Patch Kids or cuddly Care Bears. These dolls were dressed in meticulously crafted Victorian-style clothing, their porcelain faces painted with an unsettling realism. Their glassy eyes, reflecting the faint moonlight filtering through the window, seemed to follow you wherever you went. The combination of their lifelike appearance and the antique clothing gave them an eerie, almost haunting presence. "They're bisque dolls, dear," Aunt Clara chirped, oblivious to the unease creeping into my stomach as she carefully arranged a new acquisition on the shelf in the guest room. There were about 10 of them in total, each one more unsettling than the last. One, a porcelain girl with a permanently fixed, unsettling smile and a chipped curl of auburn hair, sent a jolt of dread through me. I tried to brush it off, but I couldn't shake the feeling that even with their vacant stares, they were somehow observing us. My aunt passionately denied moving them, insisting they had been left on the shelf. But neither Nancy nor I believed her. The memory of those vacant eyes staring up at us, the unsettling feeling of being watched, has stayed with me all these years. 30 years later, the dolls still reside in the guest room at Aunt Clara's house. I haven't visited in years, unable to bear the thought of being under their frightening gaze again. Sometimes at night, I swear I can hear a faint whispering coming from the room, a sound like secrets being shared between the dolls and the shadows that dance on the walls. The mystery of the overturned dolls remains unsolved, a chilling reminder of that night and the unsettling feeling that something or someone else shared the room with us. But the whispers haven't stayed confined to my memory. Every so often, a frantic call from Nancy would shatter the normalcy of my life. "They moved again?" she'd gasp, her voice strained with a familiar fear. "Aunt Clara swears she didn't touch them, but..." The line would usually trail off into silence, leaving me with a cold knot of dread in my stomach. Driven by a morbid curiosity and a desire to finally understand what happened that night, I decided to confront Aunt Clara. She was older now, her once bright eyes clouded with a film of age. The house, too, seemed to have aged, the air thick with dust and a sense of neglect. The guest room remained untouched, a shrine to a bygone era and a chilling memory. Aunt Clara seemed genuinely bewildered by my visit and the accusations about the dolls. She insisted they were harmless, mere antiques. But as I pressed her, a flicker of something akin to fear crossed her face. She admitted to a strange occurrence, years back, shortly after we'd stayed over. One night she'd woken to the sound of a child's laughter echoing from the guest room. Assuming it was a neighborhood prank, she'd investigated, only to find the room empty. the dolls creepily silent. Her story sent a shock through me. A child's laughter? Could the dolls be haunted by a restless spirit? A presence that only manifested when the house was quiet? The thought was both terrifying and strangely sad. I left Aunt Clara's house that day with more questions than answers. The mystery of the overturned dolls remained, but now it was laced with a new layer of intrigue. Who was the laughing child? Was it connected to the unsettling atmosphere of the dolls? Years later, a handwritten note arrived in the mail, the address scrawled in Aunt Clara's shaky handwriting. Inside, a single line sent shivers down my spine. "They grow restless," Aunt Clara had scrawled in a hurried hand. "The whispers have returned louder this time. I fear I haven't trapped them after all. Perhaps—" The sentence trailed off, unfinished. That night, we had a visitor come late at night. Mr. Anderson, Aunt Clara's lawyer, stood on the porch, his face etched with concern beneath the harsh glow of the porch light. The news he delivered was a gut punch. Aunt Clara had passed away peacefully in her sleep earlier that evening. I was filled with grief. "Your aunt, she wanted you to have everything, the house, the furniture, and, well, the dolls," he said in his no-nonsense demeanor. My blood ran cold. This was a nightmare inheritance. It wasn't just a house, it was a prison with those dolls. Taking a deep breath, I spoke. "I'll take it," I said, my voice surprisingly steady. "The house, everything.